let everybody know that we're talking to Mr. Roy Mercer. I met Mr. Mercer through a mentor program in the Brazoria County Veteran Court system. As you know, I talk big about it. I'm a client and a supporter. I guess is that the right way to say it?
Yeah. And soon to be a mentor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, Mr. Mercer is definitely one of my favorite people that I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of amazing people in that veteran court program, and Mr. Mercer is definitely one of them. Tell us a little bit about your background, Mr. Mercer.
Well, I'm a United States Marine. I graduated high school, went to college for a little bit, and I got my first letter of recommendation. The dean of the college wrote me a letter, and he recommended that I not come back to school if I wasn't going to study.
There you go.
Okay.
I love that because I also received one of those from the University of Texas.
That's too funny.
Yeah. So I went into the United States Marine Corps. That was in 1967 that I joined, then finished boot camp in 1968. And went to Vietnam then just a little bit later in 1968. Was in Vietnam from 1968 to 1969. I served as a radio operator for a Fort Observer, was artillery attached to Alpha Battery, 1st 111th, 11th Marines, 1st Mardiv. So I came home from there, and I had a young lady that had been writing me letters that we were going to get married and all that kind of stuff. And her dad was probably smarter than I was. He told her that I was probably headed in the wrong direction because I turned to the bottom. Didn't know anything, didn't know what was wrong, didn't know anything was wrong with me. I thought y'all were wrong. Y'all were something.
That what you just said right there, we've all said.
Yeah.
But we're not crazy. You guys are crazy.
Yes.
The other people are.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. And I went on for quite a few years in the bottle until October 29th, 1981, and that's when I came to my senses and started living in a different direction.
What was the wake up call?
Wake up call was I was sitting in a motel room in Meridian, Mississippi. I had invited some people in, and I looked around my room, and they had helped themselves to everything that I had. And I knew that my boss was going to fire me. This would have been the 4th time, and then my wife was going to leave me, and that would have been the 5th time. And I didn't want to lose my children at all. But, sometimes I think we just have to sit back, and it took me a little while, but I think we need to just sit back and let our higher power take charge.
Yes, sir.
Agreed on that one.
Yes, sir.
And that's exactly what happened. I called out to that God that I told you I didn't believe in that motel room in Meridian, Mississippi. And I can look back from this day till that one, and I can see where every person, place, and thing has been placed in my life so I can do what he wants me to do.
Amen to that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm very strong in my faith.
Yes, sir.
And I 100% believe that people come in the season that you need them the most.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
and I'm going to tell you, these two gentlemen and our Nick, he's actually at work.
Yeah.
Came into my life because I needed this more than I wanted to admit, more than I cared to admit,
Yes, sir.
and more than I knew. And
Yes, sir.
this has been a huge blessing. And before we continue, because I want to know a little bit more,
Sure.
especially about the things that you do locally here, I want to thank you. And I know that, when most Vietnam veterans came back from Vietnam, they didn't receive the welcome home that they deserved. And I, for one, would like to say welcome home and thank you so much for all that you did. And I know that we're a few days away from, just past was Veterans Day, and then the 245th birthday
Yes, sir.
Of the crayon eaters. I mean, of the Marine
Oh,
Corps.
my goodness, I got to hear that now.
He's going to bring that up. You know, every time.
Yeah, well, that's
yeah.
all right. We're used to it.
Yeah,
That's all right. He claims to be an officer. You know, they probably eat some crayons
what?
too. Yeah, exactly.
Officer.
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah.
said.
And he's actually doing something?
Yeah,
No.
you know.
No.
I got to tell you, you thank me, but I really have to thank you guys because I've flipped around the channels and I've found you on YouTube and I've seen you different places and you guys are putting information out there and that's what our veterans need. They need information.
Right.
And you guys are doing a great job and I've even seen you in the gym a time or two.
Oh no.
No. That's
I hope we
only
weren't dancing.
twice. So you're with Veterans Corps.
Yes, sir. I volunteer there.
That's fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about that and
Sure,
kinda your
sure.
role as a mentor?
And what brought you there?
What brought me there?
Yes.
You don't want me crying on this thing, do you? I'll get a little emotional with this because when I was out there running and gunning and living in the bottle, I got in a little bit of trouble. And we didn't have Veterans Court. We didn't have anything like that. And when I got in trouble, there was a young man there in the court who was an officer of the court who took an interest in me. And that was one of my mentors along the way. And as a result of that, I can get my CHL. I can do a lot of things that I might not have been able to do had I not had that mentorship and been willing to take a few steps and own my actions and make up for them.
Right.
So what brought me to Veterans Court is that, quite frankly, somebody helped me, and I believe it's what I'm supposed to do.
That's,
Continuing to pay it forward.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely. Just
always-
like you guys.
I always tell people that, one of the things that 99.9% of all veterans, all people who seek to serve in the military, selfless service is at one of the core principles in their life.
Yes, sir.
They continue, even after they get out of the service,
Yes, sir.
they continue to serve their community because it's in our hearts.
Yes, sir.
It's one of those things.
Yes, sir.
We want to make sure that everybody succeeds. And I'm not going to say everybody because there's always, one of those loony pins that got in that shouldn't have been in. But at the end of the day, helping your community and helping the veterans, successfully transition back to civilian life is awesome.
Correct.
And it gives me chills to think about, the stuff that you're doing for
the things, Mr. Mercer. Let me tell you from firsthand experience is grateful for you, your knowledge and your just your guidance in everything that you do. Your PTSD meetings that we have on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's good. I mean, bullshit. You give us information that we need to hear, and we talk, and I love that. I just want to let you know, me personally, you have a big impact on me, and a lot of times when I'm about to do something that I probably should think about once or twice, what will Mr. Mercer do?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Well, Raul, thank you so much for that. That's what we do. And the only thing I would ask is one day stick out your hand for somebody.
Done.
And just pay it, like was said earlier, pay it forward. And I've had a lot of people that have been very important to me. And to hear that I'm important to somebody, that truly is grace. I came from a place where I wasn't respected. I lived up to the reputation that people gave the Vietnam veterans. Then I got out of that. I owned my behavior. I got out of that, changed my life. I've worked in a couple of different career fields for a long time. I've been successful in both of them. I finally retired. I got to retire. I thought I'd be working till I was 103 or ever as long as I could last. But with a little help of some people along the way who gave me some advice that I listened to, I was able to save a little money and retire.
I look forward to that day. Retirement. I want to go fishing. Like my idea of retirement is not really retiring, and sitting and because like you're doing a lot more. You're probably doing more now than you were working full time. With volunteering and everything that you do, which is awesome.
Gladly.
That's one of the things when you give of yourself, the return is so much greater than that which you gave.
Yes, it is.
And it's
and you could see a big difference in you from the time that you started writing again.
Yeah.
To what was before. Like you're more energetic. It seems.
Yes,
like
sir.
You got a smile on your face a lot more. I mean, you're always smiling, but you definitely do now.
Yes, sir.
And you look younger, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Some people retire and play golf. I retired and ride motorcycles.
There you go. Nothing wrong
with
that,
man. Yeah, I love it.
I want to retire and fish. That's what I want. But here's the bad thing about that is the fact that when I go out and go offshore fishing, I actually get motion sick. So it just makes it really, really hard to retire and do what you want.
So how did you get involved with?
Yes, sir.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
So how did you get involved with the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association?
Well, I was going through the computer and looking up different motorcycle stuff, different veteran stuff, and there really are a lot of motorcycle associations, some clubs that a lot of veterans belong to. And I found this, and on one of the patches that we wear says "Vets Helping Vets."
I like that.
Caught my eye, and here I am.
There you go. I love that. I love that. It's the one thing when there's anything going on in the community, surrounding communities, you see Mr. Mercer there, and that's awesome. I hope I have a smidge of your energy when I'm a little bit older.
Well, you're headed in the right path, and you've got a lot more energy than I do. So if I tap on some of your energy one of these days, are you willing?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I'll come a running.
All right, man.
Not very fast, but I'll come a running.
Well, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, I for one, sir, want to thank you so much, not only for your service, not only for what you continue to do, but for taking the time to come and talk to us.
Sure.
This is fantastic. And before we wrap it up, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Any advice for those veterans out there who may be struggling, maybe on the brink of, making that ultimate mistake of taking their lives?
The advice I would give is to reach out. Don't sit there and suffer in your own thoughts. My mind, I was told one time that my mind is a dangerous place. I should never go there alone. That's part of the advice I would give people. Reach out. It's not, that phone can weigh 3,000 pounds, but when you pick it up, that 3,000 pounds goes away, and it's light as a feather.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of things, there's no shame in reaching out. There's no shame in asking for help. We had a lady, maybe half an hour ago come up and, what do you guys do? And, she said, she was talking about her son that, she sees a lot of things going on in his life right now. She's like, he just, she can't ask him because she's like, he's not going to tell me, but, so we gave her some of our information. Hey, have him call us.
Yeah. Right.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Right.
We, the way we end our podcast every time is we tell people that the world would not be the same without them.
Absolutely.
And we truly mean it,
Absolutely.
Whether they reach out to somebody in their local community or somebody within their family or reach out to a complete stranger, the best thing to do is just that. It's reaching out. So, Mr. Mercer, go ahead.
I don't know how much time we got left.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
We've opened a door here that's really important to me.
Go for it.
In addition to the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, I'm part of the Military Veteran Peer Network.
So am I.
Good.
Galveston.
Galveston, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And that organization provides training for people who want to work with veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Brazoria County, we have 3 PTS meetings a week that are on Zoom. Then we also do some outreach. We can't right now, but we used to go into the jail once a week with a PTS meeting. And those things are available, and it's veteran to veteran.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody that's been there that can talk about it and can understand what you're going through.
Yeah, I am a big proponent of MVPN.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. There's a lot of phenomenal veteran service organizations that are doing some great work for veterans. To include the Warriors Refuge, which is what we're doing here today.
Yeah.
I was reading some statistics a while back, and I may get them wrong, but there were over 100,000 veterans living in the streets at this very moment, which is outrageous to me.
Yes, sir.
Because as a nation, we should be doing so much more to make sure that that's not happening. But this place, I heard there were 40 residents living here, or 40 veterans who are residents here who are going through the program, and it's awesome. And as they're continuing to remodel and fix up the facility, because it's a if I understand correctly, and please, I don't know if it's a old nursing home that they bought, and that they're slowly remodeling and revitalizing it at the height when it's fully functional. I heard it's like 120 veterans that are going to be able to.
I think total between the 2 campuses. There is another campus that's down in Oyster Creek. Mm-hmm. And the way the program is, when you come here, there's a 30-day, and then there's another place where they can stay for up to 2 years. And then there's kind of a recovery aspect to it. And then the place down in Oyster Creek is like a sober living or a transition house.
Uh-huh.
And those guys go out and they work, they pay rent. They just really get integrated back into society.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So they can take them from the gutter to the business.
There you go.
That's what it's about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Again, Mr. Mercer, thank you so much. If there's anything that we can help with, please don't hesitate to let us know. And if there's any time you want to come back to the podcast and just hang out with us, you have a standing invitation, sir.
Well, thank you. I got to tell you, you're a pretty good bunch to hang out with.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I know you're just saying
Thanks
that
for
about
putting
me
up
and
with us.
No, but thank you so much.
And thank you guys. Thanks for doing what you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.